So in these times of coronavirus, we know that many healthcare workers are really very, very busy, feeling the pressure, of course. And, you know, we feel very, very grateful to everything that you're doing. And it's lovely to have other people in the session as well. But what I've been trying to do is come up with some very accessible ways of practicing mindfulness in the heat of the moment, you know, because we might not have time to sit and meditate for an hour or 40 minutes or 30 minutes. You know, what are very quick, easy things that we can do at any time during the day to help us calm down the nervous system? Because I think that's the main thing that we need to do in times of stress, because many of us will get into fight, flight, freeze, sort of feeling agitated, a little bit aroused in a certain kind of way, the nervous system aroused. And a brilliant way of bringing about calm is simply to drop into breathing. And when I say drop into breathing, I don't mean here, because that, of course, can sometimes exacerbate feelings of panic, but to drop right down into the belly and into the lower back. Breathing in the back of the body stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system. It's restful to breathe into the back. And I think if you go right down to the lower back, that's particularly restful, because you can be right inside the movements of breathing, feeling the broadening on the in-breath, the subsiding on the out-breath. And it's quite a long way away in the body from the chest, because if we're panicky, we're going to be up here. So the idea is that we get our awareness deep in the body. And I sometimes talk about it as befriending the breath and also befriending gravity. Because I think when we're agitated, we often are pulling away from gravity. Our awareness comes very high in the body. We get very dominated by thinking. And we have gravity around us all the time, always pulling us down towards the earth. So when we're pulling away, that creates tension, and it's tiring to be fighting gravity all the time. So it can be very interesting to rest in gravity and rest inside breathing. So that's what we're going to do tonight in the practice. And I've started talking about the 3 B's of the breath, not bumblebees, but letters B, the 3 B's of the breath, because again, it's catchy. And these are 3 areas that is particularly helpful to breathe into or to relax. One is the buttocks, because if you relax your buttocks, your awareness will come lower in the body. You can't be like this and have relaxed buttocks at the same time. You could try that, but you'll discover that you can't really do that. So relaxing the buttocks and relaxing the belly. And then the other area is the base of the skull. Because very often when we're stressed, when we're tense, when we're agitated, we sort of tense the jaw, and we stick our chin forward and we're rushing into the future. We get this kind of posture. So to relax around the base of the skull, it draws the head back, it draws our awareness back. So if we release around the buttocks, the belly, the base of the skull, and of course the 4th B could be the back breathing. Those are areas, if we just drop into those, it will be automatically and naturally calming. Yeah, it might be that you bounce back into agitation in the next moment, you catch that and you just drop back into gravity, drop back into breathing. It's also very helpful as a way of calming our minds, because if our thoughts are running away, we tend to not have very much body awareness. And the way we are wired as human beings, we can't be aware of the body in an immediate sense, not as an idea, but as an actual felt experience of the sensations in the body. We can't be in that and lost in thinking at exactly the same moment. We just can't do that. As soon as we come into the body, you'll find that your mind calms down. You might, as I said before, you might bounce straight back into thinking. You notice that and you come back into the body. Essentially, we can't be lost and present at the same time. And that's quite a helpful thing to remember. So body awareness is just a really great way to be present, and breath awareness in particular. So let's do a little practice now together, shall we? And then we could perhaps have a little debrief afterwards. We'll meditate for 10 minutes or so. And it will be breathing, calming, settling, resting, and also getting a sense of the flow of the breath. So making a decision how you want to position the body. You can do this sitting, you could lie down if you want to, you could do it standing. It's completely up to you. And checking in on your posture, checking that you're as comfortable as possible and yet alert. And let's begin to settle. Let's take some deeper in-breaths. And on the out-breath, arriving down in the body. Do this a few times, deeper in-breath. And then breathing all the way out. And then allowing the in-breath to flow in again in its own time. So we're not forcing or straining around the breath. What we're doing is making sure that we allow the out-breath to go all the way out. And the in-breath to take care of itself. When we're stressed, uptight, worried, agitated, we tend to hold on to the breath. And we don't let the out-breath have its full expression. And as we breathe, let's have a sense of resting down into gravity. Breathing in, and then every out-breath resting down, settling, arriving, allowing the whole body to be held and supported by gravity. There might be discomfort, there might be agitation, that's fine, not judging that. Not forcing, just allowing the breathing to gradually settle deep in the body. And allowing the body to be held by the chair, by the floor. Seeing if we can let the buttocks be relaxed. Feeling into the contact between the buttocks and the chair and allowing the weight to drop down through that contact. Feeling into the belly, the abdomen. Can we allow it to expand on the in-breath a little bit, subside on the out-breath a little bit? And what's happening in the lower back as we breathe? Maybe there's a broadening and opening on the in-breath, subsiding on the out-breath. Maybe we can feel the angle of the lower back changing a little bit on the in-breath and the out-breath. Always being careful not to force or strain, just resting inside the lower back, inside breathing. The upper back, the back of the ribs, the back of the lungs, the spine, the shoulder blades. Can we allow breathing to express itself here? This will be calming if we've got agitation in the chest, just dropping into the back. And the chest, the front and the sides. Letting the arms fall away from the shoulders, having the hands supported. Maybe having a sense of the whole torso as we breathe. Whole torso expanding in all directions on the in-breath, subsiding in all directions on the out-breath. So we're feeling the volume of the torso filling and subsiding and filling and subsiding. If there's any pain, agitation, maybe allowing the breathing to soothe this. Always paying particular attention to let the out-breath have its full expression. Letting the hands be soft. And now coming to the base of the skull. See if we can soften in this area, maybe tucking the chin in a little bit if it's sticking out. So we're softening around the whole jaw area. And letting the face be soft. Maybe even having a sense of letting the brain soften a little bit. Just be aware now of the whole body. Head, arms, torso, and then the legs falling out of the hips. Allowing our awareness to go all the way down to the feet, the toes. Resting inside the whole body, breathing. So resting inside an experience of breathing, not an idea of breathing. And using this as an anchor for the mind. Every time the mind rushes away, we notice that's our moment of mindfulness, and we call the mind back to rest inside breathing, inside the body. A moment of presence. Seeing if we can get a really felt sense of this. So we've got the experience to come back to during the day. This experience of being grounded, stable, resting in gravity, resting in breathing. Be careful not to judge ourselves harshly. Maybe we're very distracted. The mind's running away all the time. Mindfulness isn't about doing it perfectly. It's about being aware of what's happening. And if you notice the mind is running away, then without giving ourselves a hard time, we can choose to shift our awareness back inside the body, even if it's just for a moment. And every time we do this, we're rewiring the brain, we're calming the nervous system. Now what we can do is bring the weight of the body to the foreground of awareness, the contact with the chair to the foreground of awareness. Beginning to move a little bit. I notice I'm just wanting to rock a little bit from side to side. And it's interesting to see if we can keep the breathing soft as we begin to move. Often there's a tendency to grip around the breathing as soon as we move. Let's keep it soft. Staying low in the body. And then stretching or moving however we want to, opening the eyes if we've had them closed. Just feeling the effects of the practice. And I'm curious to know the effect on you. What happened? Anyone willing to share anything? Maybe how the effect of the meditation on you, how you feel your experience has changed by resting inside, breathing in that way.
Well, it was very calming for me, and I felt the breath everywhere in my back and front, and very soft. So it's a nice experience. Yeah, thank you.
And what was the effect on your mind?
My mind was at ease tonight, so it was really quiet. Yeah.
Good, thank you.
My experience was that I thought I was nicely relaxed when I sat down, but as you took us through it, Vidyamala, I just became more and more relaxed physically. It was a real treat, actually, to end up feeling as relaxed as I now do. And I thought I was there already, but clearly there was a way to go. And I love the 3 Bs. I think that's great. As far as what was going on in my head, there is something that's just something that happened today that's preoccupying me, and that was chattering away. And whilst it's still obviously in my head, what I found was there just seemed to be, sort of metaphorically, more distance between me and the thoughts. So whilst they were still there, they weren't kind of bothering me in the way that they were when I first sat down. So
that's very interesting, isn't it? How they can still be there, but they don't have quite the same sort of grip. Yeah, good, thank you. I think it's a very important point, because some people think that when we meditate, we stop thinking. But of course, that's not the case. Minds are designed to think, but it's more that we get perspective on our thinking, or they don't have quite such a hold. The thoughts don't have quite such a hold on us. Yeah. Anybody else? If you just unmute yourself, Mike. You're just muted at the moment.
Oh yeah. It's the first time I was joining this experience. I felt quite calm, quite relaxed, but I was noticing my mind was wandering. I had to constantly come back, but I was noticing my breathing was, as I was breathing, I felt more and more relaxed, and I felt I got into a nice space, really, where I felt really, really calm, and it was a nice feeling of calmness all over me.
Great, thank you. Thank you. That's really good to hear. Yeah. I wasn't quite sure if you could hear us, so I'm really delighted that you were.
Yeah, I was having trouble at the beginning.
Yeah. But that's fine. That's fine. I'm just really glad that you were able to join in. That's brilliant.
Yeah, really nice.
Thank you. Thank you. I think you were going to say something, Mike. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I got into a really relaxed state quite quickly. On the body side, I mean, that was a useful one about saying, let your back of your skull drop down. because I've noticed over the last, before the virus outbreak, I seem to, well, I suppose because I've been mindful, I don't, for some reason, I get a lot of tension in my, like in the front of my face and stuff, which I do notice. So I was kind of concentrating on that as well tonight. I don't know, there was I don't think it was outside here, but there was I heard a distinctive bird song. So I don't know if it's coming from somebody's mic, but I am noticing that as well. Like during the day, apart from the mindful practice when you're actually doing the meditations, if you like, I'm trying to be more mindfulness with nature, which is one of the points you were making in another way with your compassion, challenging times. So I'm noticing a lot more at the moment, because obviously I'm fortunate to have a garden, so I can hear the birds. I'm taking a lot more notice of the birds, and I found I've been doing that over the last few months actually. Anything in nature. I've spotted flowers in the garden that I've never seen before, which in the past they've kind of they have passed me by, to be honest. But yeah, but definitely overall was really relaxed. I felt in a relaxed state and very calm. Yeah.
Good. And it's lovely what you're saying about nature, because there's a lot of trouble in the world at the moment, of course. It's a very it's a very exceptional time, isn't it? But the spring in England is just doing its thing. Virus or no virus, we've got birds and flowers and a lot of beauty. And there's lots of evidence that to focus on beauty is very good for us. And it's also calming the nervous system. So it's really great that you brought that out. Thank you. Do you want to say anything, Tula? And then we'll have to finish, because I don't want to take up your time. Not sure if she's still there. That's fine. Good. So it's 7:30, and like I say, I want to keep these sessions to time, so that I'm not taking up your time more than what I'd said I was going to. But it's been delightful to meditate with you tonight. I feel much better for it myself. And we'll see you here next week at 7. Do something similar. Yes, Prasadu?
I just wondered if when the meeting is finished, if you had a couple of minutes, we could have a little chat about something.
That's fine. So probably the best thing is, because Ollie's uploading this to YouTube, is that we all leave the meeting and then I'll call you back. Yeah, that's the best thing. Yeah, lovely. Okay, everybody, thank you. So look forward to seeing you next week, same time. And yeah, I'll just bring in different tips every week, and we're going to also put them onto the website, so they'll be available to watch later. So have a good evening, everybody. Yeah. Bye bye.
Stay safe.
Yeah. Stay safe. Yeah.